Welcome all of you to the AC Machines lectures. This is Unit 1, 3-phase induction motor. In this video, we are going to see the torque equation of the 3-phase induction motor. In this video, we will see the torque equation and then torque equation in the different conditions, starting conditions and running conditions, and we will see the starting torque in both motors, slip ring motor and squirrel cage motors, and we are going to see the effect of change in supply voltage at starting torque and then torque under running conditions also. Finally, we will see some conclusions from this derivations of the torque equations. Okay, first we will discuss about the torque. What is the torque? Torque, we know that is a rotating force. It will be created by the help of magnetic flux and current. We studied in already 4th semester in DC machines. In DC machines, the torque is based on the flux and the armature current. Same like that, here also in induction motor also the torque is proportional to the flux and the rotor current. And another one factor is added here, that is the power factor of rotor. I will repeat the three factor: stator flux, rotor current and rotor power factor. In previous video, we saw the rotor current and rotor induced EMF, rotor frequency, rotor reactance, rotor impedance, rotor power factor. Everything we derived. If you not have seen that previous videos, please you watch that video and come back to this video. Then you can understand very clearly. So here three factor I told. One is rotor power factor and rotor current and then stator flux. Okay, three things we are going to see step by step. And then we are going to see in a different time, at starting time and running time. Okay, these three things here we combined together. I told three things. One is flux, another one is current. Here I mentioned E2. Okay, why I mentioned E2? Because at standstill E2 is directly proportional to flux. So we can put E2 in the place of phi. Okay, so we can write torque directly proportional to E2 I2 cos phi 2. If you remove the proportional by a constant K1, we will get this value T equal to K1 E2 I2 cos phi 2. Okay, as I told you already, in these values E2 I2 cos phi 2, these values we already seen in the we have seen in the previous lecture videos. Okay, now we will see the starting torque. the starting condition, we will say that that is a standstill condition also. Okay, that time we are considering the E2, that is the rotor EMF, then R2, that is the rotor resistance per phase, then X2, that is the rotor reactance per phase. Okay, these three things we are considering, and standstill condition. Resistance, the rotor resistance is same, even standstill condition or running condition, but the reactance and then the EMF, it will be changed. Okay, the initial condition torque, okay, the instant of torquing is called starting torque. Sometimes it will be greater than the normal running torque, sometimes it will be less also. Okay, here it is mentioned starting torque is like TST. So A1 into E2 I2 cos phi 2. Okay, in previous video we saw the E2 value and I2 value and cos phi 2 value. Okay, so what is the E2 value? Okay, here we no need to worry about E2 value. E2 we can keep as it is like E2. We can derive the I2. I2 value is equal to E2 divided by Z2. Z2 we know that is root of, this thing already I taught you, that's why I am explaining it. R2 square plus X2 square. This is the running condition. So this is I2. And then cos phi 2 equal to R2 by Z2. So R2 divided by Z2 value. If you put Z2 value here, R2 square plus X2 square. Okay, now these values we are going to put in this equation. Okay, you can take another calculation. So what will be the starting torque? Is equal to A1 E2, the I2 value we can take, I2 value we can write E2 divided by root of R2 square plus X2 square into cos phi 2 value, that is R2 divided by root of R2 square plus X2 square. Okay. Now if we multiply E2 and E2, we will get E2 square divided by, okay, this R2 also there, E2 square into R2, and then this 2 value is there, R2 square plus X2 square under root, 2 value is there. So this root and square will be cancelled. So we will get A1 E2 square R2 divided by R2 square plus X2 square. If suppose, okay, we will come the later. Here we are going to apply the constant value. The constant K1 value equal to 3 divided by 2 pi ns. If you put this value here, you will get Tst equal to 3 divided by 2 pi ns into E2 square R2 divided by R2 square plus X2 square. We can replace this with the Z2 also. If suppose in the place of E2, if suppose we consider the supply voltage is constant, then what will happen? We can remove this E2, then we can, in the place of E2, because of the new concept, we can do that another one constant. We can write like this: if supply voltage constant, we can write St equal to E2. So this is constant, so no need of the dependence. So we can write R2 divided by R2 square plus X2 square. So this is the starting torque. Okay, starting torque. Actually, in squirrel cage motor and slip ring induction motor, the starting torque will be differ because of the construction and the resistance, reactance, and other things. So here we will see what will be happened in squirrel cage motor. Next we will see the slip ring induction motor. In squirrel cage motor, what will happen? In squirrel cage motor, the reactance is high, the resistance is less. Okay. The resistance of the squirrel cage motor is fixed and small. So the difference is big. So what will happen in squirrel cage motor? There will be the large angle of current. Okay, the starting current will be too high because of the current is less. The resistance is less. That's why the current will increase. But because of the reactance, the lagging will be there. The lagging of the current with respect to E2. So what will happen? The power factor will be poor. So starting torque, that will be poor. So whenever we need a high starting torque, this squirrel cage motor is not preferable. Here the starting torque will be 1.5 times of the full load torque. Okay, that full load current will be 5 to 7 times of the full load current. So this is the thing about starting torque of the squirrel cage motor. Now we will see the slip ring motor starting torque. Here we will use the external resistance. Here we will use the external resistance. That external resistance will be connected with the rotor circuit. So we can increase or decrease, we can vary the resistance. So what will happen? This resistance also increase, so it will give the high starting torque. Because of the power factor. Because of the power factor, it will give the high starting torque. The reason is the resistance is high, so that the power factor will be good. So power factor increase, the speed, the torque also will increase. But another one thing, if the resistance is high, the rotor current will be reduced. Okay, so what will happen? Later the speed will be, the torque will be decreased. So here it is mentioned, at first the effect of improved power factor predominates the current decreasing effect. Okay, the current will decrease so that the torque will be reduced, but the effect of the power factor improvement will dominate this effect, so the starting torque will be increased. But after a certain point, the increased impedance effect, it will predominate, so the torque will start to decrease. Torque starts decreasing. And now we will see the condition for maximum starting torque. Here, this is the equation of the starting torque when the supply is constant. So the E2 term is removed. So here K2 R2 square, K2 R2 divided by R2 square plus X2 square. So usually what we will do to find the starting torque, we will differentiate with respect to the important factor, and then we will equate it to 0, and then we will find the maximum torque conditions. So we can we will see, we can see the proof. The maximum torque condition is the rotor resistance is equal to rotor reactance. Rotor resistance is R2, that is equal to X2, that is rotor reactance. That is the condition. Okay, anyway, we will derive this. We will derive this starting the condition. Okay, now we are going to derive this. So if we derive, first we will take the starting torque, and then we are going to differentiate with respect to R2. Okay. Actually here this is like UV method, UVV method. You know that formula, V du minus U dV divided by V square. You have to consider this as a U term, and then down we will consider as a U term. So the constant will keep outside, and then we can V du. We will write the V du. V term, the down term we will write R2 square plus X2 square. V term. Then we need to differentiate the U term. If you differentiate R2 with respect to R2, you will get 1. So there is no need of change. The same term will be there. Minus U dV. U term you will write, that is R2, and then dV. This term, actually this plus term, there is no R term, so it will become 0. Here the R2 square, if you differentiate R2 square, you will get R2 divided by term V square. So the numerator, sorry, denominator term V square. So that is V square. So then actually the condition is we have to equate to 0. Okay. So just we will bring the a to that side, so that will become 0. So just we will take this values. So what will be the value? R2 square plus x2 square minus 2 R2 divided by R2 square plus x2 square whole square. If this term goes that side, that also will become 0. Then we will get R2 square plus x2 square minus 2 R2 . Actually here R2 into R2 square will come equal to 0. So now we can send this down to that side. So we will get R2 square plus x2 square equal to 2 R2 square. If we send this R to that side, x2 square equal to 2R2 minus R2 square equal to R2 square. If you take the root both sides, you will get x2 equal to R2. So this is the condition for the maximum starting torque. So that one only we told the result can be proved. The maximum starting torque is there when the rotor resistance and the rotor will be equal. So effect of change in supply voltage on starting torque. So based upon the variation in supply voltage, in the starting torque some effect will be there. We know the starting torque equation. When it is okay, we will write the equation. T ST starting torque equal to K1 E2 square R2 divided by R2 square plus x2 square. We know that E2 is directly proportional to V. So now we can replace this E2 V, but here we have to replace with another constant K3. So K3 V square R2 divided by R2 square plus x square x2 square. This area R2 square plus x square we can write like z square z2 square A3 V square R2. That is starting torque. So we can at the starting torque is K3 square R2 divided by Z2 square. Here you see this, the R2 is constant. So starting torque is directly proportional to V square. You can write starting torque proportional to V square. So the change in supply voltage, that is very important. Means even the small range of change also will give impact in starting torque. So if there is a change in voltage in 5%, 5% change in supply voltage. Suppose 5% change in supply voltage, there will be the 10% change in the torque. So this is the effect of change in the supply voltage on starting torque.